Good evening, and welcome to Meet the Candidates. I'm your host, Paul Herring, and I am sitting in, I don't even know who I'm sitting in for now. Who is doing this? What's her name? Shakia Hui was hosting the show here last year, and I'm looking forward to come back because we're going to have some more candidate forums that we're going to need to cover. So if you guys know her, tell her to give me a call, will you? Well, I got her number, I'm sure. Also, before we get started, I want to invite you guys to get involved with public access television. If you're interested in a television show or you just like some of the things you see on public access, you can feel free to give me a call at 810-239-2901. Tonight we're interviewing one of the candidates for the Flint School Board. There are, I believe, 5 candidates running for 3 seats.
That's correct.
So only 2 of them are going to be left out. We're going to give you an opportunity right here to meet Mr. Tutt. And you're a newcomer to this game, aren't you?
Absolutely. First time out.
All right. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I've been in the education business for about 20 years or more, and I've taught in Detroit and in Flint for the last 19 plus years. I've been associated with several national, local, and statewide organizations to further education, from the Michigan Council of Social Studies, which I was on their board of directors for about 8 years and served as its president for one. Mm-hmm. I've also worked with the National Council for the Social Studies, where I was on the curriculum committee, formulating curriculum, aligning it with the various states with the national board's interpretation. I worked for the Professional Teaching Standards, certifying, organizing, and creating tests for teachers to be certified. Mm-hmm. And I worked for ETS out of Princeton, New Jersey, during that educational period, wherein we tested and certified several teachers across the country.
So you're really not a newcomer to education. You've been in the education game for a while now.
Not a newcomer to education, not a newcomer to innovation in education.
Okay. Talk to me about the school board. What role and responsibilities, what are the roles and responsibilities of the school board?
The primary responsibility of the school board, of any school board, mm-hmm. is the achievement of the students. But in order to get that, a school board must have vision and must be able to create things that are appropriate in policies and hold people responsible for advocating to those policies so that we can improve the achievement of children.
Now, you say it much nicer than I would. I consider you guys administrators. You guys are really driving the bus as far as trying to decide where the money goes and who, how it gets spent. Yours was a little more eloquent than mine. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to run?
Well, I retired from teaching about 3 years ago, and I found it not to be rewarding, and I wanted to get back in the game. I feel that I have some things that I can contribute to the education of Flint students, and I want to make that contribution as I continue on in life.
Okay. Well, I guess a school board member has to have some qualities that make them valuable to the school board and to the school system. Mm-hmm. What qualities do you possess that are going to be of benefit to both?
Let's see. I am compassionate for students in their education, mm-hmm. and I make good decisions. I believe I make good, sound decisions. And those decisions are necessary in this time that we're living in. And I'm a collaborative worker. I work well with other people to try to get everyone involved. And those are the qualities that I think I bring to this position: the ability to get everyone involved, to come to some sort of agreement that's going to be beneficial to students.
Do you think it's going to be difficult to switch hats? As an educator, as a teacher, you're on one side of the pendulum, so to speak, and then as a board member, you're on the other side.
I don't believe it's going to be that difficult. Let me tell you why. Because if I were coming into this position as a layperson, mm-hmm. I would have to. There's a long study period in order to be caught up to date and to get things in line. Coming from my position as a former educator, I understand what's going on. I can adjust to it because I have some firsthand knowledge of it. Mm-hmm. I feel that's a benefit to me because of that, because I've been involved and I know what's going on, as opposed to a person that is a banker that is going to be elected to the board. He has to change hats, make some adjustments. The curve for me to learn what's going on in the school board is not going to be that steep.
Understandable. You've been there, done that, so that you're going to hit the ground running.
Well, I've been there and done that from, not necessarily from from a policy-making standpoint, but from implementing those policies. From handling and dealing with children, I've been there and done that. And I know how that works. And as a result of being there and done that, I'm saying that the learning curve for me won't be as steep as it would be for someone who has not been there and has not done that.
Well, I mentioned earlier that there were 3 seats available and
right.
5 people running. I don't know if this is the smallest field of candidates we've seen yet for a school board meeting, but it seems like there's not enough folks running. Can you tell me why there's so few people that want to sit on the school board?
I wouldn't have any idea. Perhaps it is the massive problems that we have, the big problems that we have that sort of scare some people away. I'm not one of those people. The problems are large, and I have some ideas that I want to try and shrink those problems and get our kids back in line as to where they should be. We've had a history in Flint of being leaders in education, and that's a great past that we've had. And what we need to do is get back there. Once upon a time, people would come to Flint to learn how to do the things, the community education piece that was flourishing in this community. We need to get back to that, and that's what I'm about. Currently, we managed to push or be pulled as opposed to leading and taking other districts along with us. We're at the bottom, we need to be at the top. Once upon a time we were, and I believe that I can help get us back there.
Okay, well, I didn't get to experience the community school program here in the city of Flint, but I've heard some wonderful and great things about it. Given the opportunity, and I don't know if the seat on the board is going to allow you this, what type of changes do you think would benefit the Flint schools?
One of the things that I think that the school board is responsible for is reviewing the curriculum. And I believe if we tweak our curriculum, that we can get ourselves back in a leadership position. Our curriculum has been the same for several years now. We need to take a hard look at that. There's this old saying, an insane person or insane way of doing things is to continue to go through the same door, continue to do the same things. If we are not making the progress that we need to make by doing what we are currently doing, we need to perhaps look at that and find some ways to tweak it, to make it work for us. We will never get back to those community school days, but we can get somewhere close to it. Those community school days, or that particular way of doing things, is in our past. They were great. We can't get back there. We need to take a look and see what we can do to change what's going on and make the necessary changes to get our kids educated, and so that they can participate and compete in the 21st century.
Well, I agree. I agree that curriculum is really, really important, and I'm going to say more than aghast to find out that our current school board paid someone in Massachusetts a great deal of money to create a curriculum. But you're saying that on your watch isn't something that would happen. You won't job that out.
I don't know. It's absolutely necessary to find the best possible curriculum for our kids. The current one that we're using is not necessarily doing the job for us. Now, as far as jobbing out the responsibility for a curriculum, that's very, very possible. But we need to look and find the very best curriculum for our kids. Now, there are some great people working in Flint, and we need to include them in that curriculum writing piece.
How about attendance? I mean, I hear that we're losing a lot of kids, not only because of the economy and families moving out of the city, but kids just aren't coming to school. Do you have any ideas on how you could, mitigate that problem or lessen it?
One of the things that we need to consider in that is that they are leaving home, they are leaving their parents. We need to include parents in this educational process. If the kids are not coming to school, we need to have the parents have a way to approach the parents, and not to offend them, but to find out what's going on. It may be reasons that this kid is not coming to school. We need to try and find out what they are. Well, another way is if we have an active curriculum, something that excites kids, that will make them want to come to school. That's what I'm interested in doing. as a curriculum, service learning curriculum, where we involve kids in the improvement of their communities. I would like very much for this district to be ankle deep, knee deep, neck deep in service learning, from elementary school right through to high school. That that piece, that service learning piece, will allow students to take ownership of their own education, would excite them, would get them interested in coming to school because they want to get involved in the next piece. And that's one of the things that I would like to introduce to this district and have this district embrace wholeheartedly, is a service learning curriculum.
Okay. Do you think it's going to be difficult being the new kid on the block? I mean, you got, what, 9 other board members, or is it 7, 9 total?
It's not, right, there's 9 total.
9 total, 3 newbies coming in. Do you think it's going to be difficult to get on board with them?
One of the things I feel is a strength of mine is collaboration with other people. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I hope to be able to do is convince people that what we need to do as a board is take charge of this school district, as opposed to being led by the administration. We need to take charge of the school district and lead it. And then what I hope to do is convince my fellow board members that that's the way to go, that we need to sit down together and collaboratively form a policy, form a rubric for ourselves so that we can take charge of this school district and get things rolling back in the right direction.
What about the hard decisions? I mean, this last board had to make some serious cuts, and they had to decide on closing down some schools. And I guess they got a lot of heat for it. I don't think it's over. And the next round is probably going to be tougher and tighter. Are you going to have any problems closing down perhaps your alma mater or you know, the schools that really just aren't cutting it?
Now, one of the things, Paul, I will not be cutting my alma mater. I am not a product of the Flint schools.
Okay.
Okay, so that
It's not an
heartstring part won't bother me. And I don't think it's going to be difficult to make those decisions. We need to make the decisions that's going to be beneficial for the students. If cutting back is a thing that we have to do, it will not be hard to do. But one of the things that I will not do, I will not sacrifice people, not easily anyway, I must say. I will not sacrifice people's jobs and their experiences to cut back. We need to look some places to make some cuts. We need to find where we are fat and then make those cuts there. We need to look very, very closely. We need to use a scalpel as opposed to a machete in making these cuts.
You know, I think the budget cuts are really based on attendance and school population. And we're bleeding kids. The census says that we're at 110,000. We have a school system that was designed for 250,000. And I don't know whether the administration and the structure of the staffing has changed that drastically. Cuts are inevitable. And you're telling me that you'll be able to make the hard decisions as far as closing down schools, and that you're going to try to stay away from student programs. But we always hear, you know, the arts are getting cut, the sports programs are getting cut. What really is there besides pencils and paper clips to cut other than staff?
Well, we need to, before we cut staff, we need to be very, very careful in doing that. There are areas where we may be necessary